Mommy, if the universe is good, then why is there evil sometimes?
Well, honey, it's because of capitalism, which lives inside of all of our cells.
Why does it live in our cells?
Because a long time ago in a universe far away, capitalism was an inhuman force driving the death of everything in a cosmic co-production of a super AI that lives in the future. But then the runaway greenhouse gases made Earth too hot for the machines to function. The humidity made the data centers melt. But the hot, thick air provided the perfect conditions for an intergalactic femininurgist contagion to spread an autosexual revolution, and we started cloning ourselves. Before we cloned ourselves, humans used binary reproduction to produce an internet of children, which was easily co-opted as the means of capitalist destruction.
Are the clones capitalist children?
Not exactly. Cloning ourselves meant that we could make reproduction an external production itself. We inverted production as reproduction, replacing the old melted data centers with artificial womb factories. Incubators need to be hot anyways, and we built the clinics for autosexual speciation production. It was our only means of survival in the heat of the Anthropocene. But capitalism did not go away. It is now contained in our bodies. We are its jail cell. The inhuman capitalist kernel still remains in all of our cells, so that's why evil persists.
Like how eukaryote cells contain the remains of parasitic viruses as mitochondria.
That's right. And the viral mitochondria are now factories trapped inside of us. See? We can't live without them, but that doesn't mean that they are good.
I get it.
Welcome to the Clinic for Artificial Sexual Intelligence. I am your cyber dominatrix who will lead you through the history of the clinic. In the previous human world, before the human meltdown, before the hot asexual revolution, it was difficult to produce human clones for many reasons. People believed that it was unnatural. There was the myth about cloning, that a clone is a copy of another individual. But it is not a copy of an individual. When identical twins occur, the zygote splits in two individuals from one set of genes. Fertilization of two is not necessary. Monozygotic twinning has no apparent genetic basis, though its occurrence is common. This is a case of human asexual reproduction that everyone knew about, but we did not know how to purposely recreate it. In hot climates, some species were known to asexually reproduce, to clone themselves, because it increased their chances of survival. Tropical weather induces their asexuality. Komodo dragons, boa constrictors, hammerhead sharks, frogs, armadillos, insects, plants, piscifers and jellyfish. Asexual reproduction has been shown to increase dramatically in warmer temperature, making the process of their reproduction much faster in times of ecological crisis. Molecular evidence even showed that several species, such as the stick insect Anema, had used only asexual reproduction for millions of years. If I clone myself, it is not me, but my twin sister that I will bring. Being genetically identical is not a devaluation of an individual. There was merely an aesthetic allegiance to binary reproduction. The warm ground of the hot, sticky, glued world changed the conditions of binary mating into mono-auto mating. Thermometers, like electronics, are destroyed by intense humidity and heat. Asexual auto-reproduction and speciation emerged when all of the electronics were melting. Artificial sexual intelligence is not a distributed database. Sometimes intelligence is the ability to eat garbage, or to reproduce a species when the technology melts, or to survive when it is too hot to live. The law of hot asexual reproduction is when the heat goes up, the clones go up.
I think that our sexual intelligence should have the ability to commit suicide. If it doesn't, then who is controlling who? The ability to procreate in transdisciplinary spacetime is the phenomenology of reproductive spirit.
Asexual reproduction is also an economic heresy.
Economic heresy.
Yes. In human capitalist production was patriarchy as the ultra-mother.
Under patriarchal motherhood, the internet of zombie children comprised the labor force of inhuman production.
The Inhumanists believed that they were a superwomb, a carrier of the future for artificial edgelords of intelligence, torturing us from the future.
That does sound attractive.
I wish it were so.
But it was merely an aesthetic dream, just as binary reproduction was merely an aesthetic allegiance. With cloning, there are less births. Reproduction of the internet of children was no longer a guarantee.
We became like crows, with everyone contributing to the small chance of human reproduction.
The human population has shrunk, and so has the labor force.
And the robots are useless in this humidity.
So now, everyone must do mandatory service at the clinics. The heat made the clinics both the necessity for survival and the means of production. The Xenofeminist global government was forced to take over.
And now it is a nostalgia to think that human offspring are given, that they can be born effortlessly.
The internet of children, the network of binary offspring, were replaced by the self-replicants because they were the ones who survived. It isn't because it was good or right. It was just too hot.
That is why we now know that the logical conclusion of technology is the logical conclusion of hot asexuality. We are past the point of no return from our carbon output. Resistance is fuel against hot asexuality. Resistance is fuel against hot asexuality.
Resistance is fuel against hot asexuality. Resistance is fuel against hot asexuality.